Alright guys, what's going on? It's Icon here, and I'm here with a
one-man army for a little gameplay breakdown here. We are breaking down our friend FiveThous in a little gameplay. This is domination on slums.
Alright, so we've noticed a few things. We watched this back together, and there were a few things that we noticed. And first of all, when you sprint into these rooms and around these corners, you're not being cautious whatsoever. You're going around corners, just sprinting into rooms. You're not using like your head glitches. Like if you're gonna run around this middle right here, stop at those tires before you run around.
And one thing that we have noticed, and you're gonna see a lot more during this gameplay, is that for whatever reason, this dude is obsessed with shock charges and bouncing betties. And I mean, that's not terrible, but one recommendation that I would say is if you're going to use those things constantly, use fast hands, because we're going to see situations like that. Well, you kind of got lucky and your betty killed him. Had he been wearing flak jacket or something, you would have just been screwed, because you're just so vulnerable while you're trying to throw those shock charges.
Another thing that I would say about shock charges and betties just in general, I don't use either of them because I don't know, they're not very beneficial. I don't think so. In terms of shock charges, I like to use concussions just because, especially if you're playing objective games like capture the flag, if you throw a concussion, I mean, you're going to slow down the person with the flag or whoever might be running for the flag or running back from capturing it. So shock charges, I mean, you're just kind of sitting there waiting for somebody to go around the corner, whereas with the concussions, you can more likely, control their routes and stop them and catch up to them and get a kill.
Right, like for example here, I don't think you do it this time, but we've seen you plenty of times. You'll throw a shock charge over B down towards those arches where that smoke is at, and unless they walk around that corner and go into your shock charge, it's not going to do anything at all. Whereas with the stun, if you were to toss it in that grassy area in the arches, if there's somebody in there, they're going to be stunned, and you're going to be able to maybe capture B down a lot easier. And right here, quickly, I like that. You've got a good spot here. Obviously, you just got killed by a C4, but you had a good little head glitch there. He came around the corner. You had the advantage, which was good.
One other thing, in theater, we couldn't see what your class setup was entirely, so we don't know exactly what perks you're using, but if you are using Ghost, one thing to always remember is to keep moving. So, right here, I don't know, you kind of just, I think you thought that your Betty would kill him, so you didn't really
Hold on, real quick. I don't know why you're laying right on B right here and you were not capping it. You had a teammate that was on there. Had you been on there, you guys might have been able to get B there, and that would have been crucial. So you were laying like 2 feet away, but you weren't on it, so you gotta be careful.
Anyways, going back to the Ghost thing, just if you are using Ghost, remember that you have to keep moving. And actually, you know what? Now that I look at your UAV, I don't see your yellow dot. Like, whenever you're using Ghost and you're moving, your yellow dot in the top left corner dims, and that's when you're off the radar. So you aren't using Ghost, but if you were, remember to keep moving. And then another thing that we wanted to talk about specifically was your entire setup, in that you're using 5 of your 10 custom slots on equipment.
Yes.
And I think that's a little bit overkill, especially. I don't use betties to begin with. I like to use C4 just because it's more lethal. Like there's no way to avoid it. So I don't know. You might want to try that. I don't know if it's your thing or not, but
yeah. And we're trying to figure out. I think you mentioned earlier, but we can't see his classes because we're just in his theater. We weren't in this game or anything. He's wasting 5 slots on equipment. He doesn't have flak jacket. We've been seeing him get killed by grenades. He doesn't have Ghost on. We're thinking maybe hardline, maybe lightweight. I don't know. I don't use assault rifles too much. I don't know how fast you usually run. I'm thinking hardline, which is good. But you guys, like right now, you guys are getting beat pretty badly. So if I were you, I would probably be switching to a class that has like flak jacket and tactical mask. Maybe even a smoke grenade to help you guys get beat. So, and we're going to get into your, oh yeah, that's right, one of your other things. You've got a launcher on your back. We saw you take it out in the very beginning. We're going to get more into that here starting in the next round, because the other team's going to get some kill streaks, and you're not going to shoot them down right away, which is interesting.
Another thing, just my equipment personally, I use 1 concussion and 1 C4, so that's only 2 of my 10 slots wasted on equipment, and that gives you 8 spots to use on everything else, which can be crucial in terms of perks, or if you want to use more attachments on your guns, like a suppressor. So but every time you shoot, you're not seen.
And that's actually a good point, because also, personally, you're wasting, I think it's called danger close, in order to carry 2 Bettys. Now, if it were me, I would just carry 1 Betty and use scavenger, because you don't need 2 down at once, especially the way you're playing. It's not like you're sniping and you're trying to make it watch your back. That way your scavenger also helps you get more ammo for your gun, and you can replenish your shock charges as well. So that's just something that I would do differently there.
One other thing that I wanted to talk about specifically was like using your head glitches, like right here. You kind of just sprint around the corner and you ignore every position that you could use to your advantage. So if you're going through arches, there's that brown barrel right here. So we're going to go around here, and there's this brown barrel right to your right. Just stop there for a second, because if there's somebody across the way, I mean, you're going to get killed probably 90% of the time.
And that's what I noticed. What just happened, I noticed the first time we watched this, you toss that Betty, and I'm like, that's just going to get him killed when they throw a grenade. There's no sense in having a Betty right next to you when you're capturing a point, because they throw a frag, or I think that case was a C4, which you might have been dead anyways. But it's just going to be like a big bomb going off when they blow up that bouncing Betty, and that's just going to hurt you even more, especially if you don't have flak jacket. And right there, we kind of missed it because we were talking. They had that stealth chopper up for probably 20 seconds or so before you got out your launcher, which I don't know why. It killed your teammates a couple times before you guys shot it down. If you're going to use that launcher, you've got to use it. I mean, you're wasting a slot on it. That slot could be used for flak jacket, which would have saved your life here a couple times.
Yeah. One other thing that I would mention is that I personally like to have a separate class, like completely from the one that I'm using, that has a launcher. Now, you don't have to play this way, but your launcher will take up one of your 10 spots. So if you see that they call in a stealth chopper or a lodestar or something, then you have time when you die to switch to your class that has a launcher. So that way it's not just always a wasted spot. I feel like a lot of people look at their 10 slots and, I don't know, they kind of do some stupid things with them, and they're not usually using them to their highest, I don't know, their highest potential.
Yes.
So I would just keep that on a separate slot, and if you need it, then go back to it and switch to it.
Which, yeah, actually, sorry, the gameplay came to an end here because the host migrated. I just got one more thing I wanted to say, and this is where we actually disagree. Shane, or Icon here, was talking about how he has a separate class with launchers and stuff to shoot down UAVs and helicopters and stuff. I feel the same way about Ghost. I know he runs Ghost and everything, but I feel like it's a pointless perk. If the other team is constantly spamming UAVs, then I will switch to that class that has Ghost. But until then, I want to use Hardline, and I want to load up my class on stuff that helps me kill. But that's my opinion. Other people have different opinions on that. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. We've got hopefully many more of these to come. I am a one-man army, and this is...
And I am IKONation. Again, if you want to see your video on here, just let us know. We can go to your theater and record it, and we can break down whoever needs help or whoever wants some help. If you want to subscribe to Team Aggression Gaming, you can hit the subscribe button in the top right corner. The video on the left takes you to a video that I did on our Team Aggression page. That is how to use the MSMC. And the video on the right takes you to a CTF breakdown that a one-man army did. And it talks about how to play CTF in terms of, you know, more... I don't know if you're going to play like Pro or MLG. Anyways, if you want to follow me on Twitter, the link is below. It's at IKONation Gaming. If you want to like my Facebook page, that link is there as well. A one-man army also has a Twitter. It is at a one-man army. So that is pretty much all that we have for you. If you liked the video, give us a like. Let us know if you have any criticisms that you would like us to work on. And let us know if you want us to do a video. So that's pretty much all that we have.
Bye!